there, I'm Kat. Thank you for joining me for a chat with Kat. We're going on a journey and having conversations with people from a variety of backgrounds and experiences. And during this journey, we're going to probably laugh and smile. We'll have moments of compassion and cry. We may be angry or feel confronted, and we may be amazed and just need to ponder. So whatever the emotion is that comes up, let's take a moment to breathe and ask ourselves why we're feeling this. And also, let's ask, what can I learn from this? So go ahead and like, share, subscribe, and make sure that your friends and family and colleagues and anyone you feel could get something from this gets to see this. So let's get on with our journey with Chat with Kat. Thank you for being here. Thanks, Chantelle. Yep. He's shy this morning, is he? Or
Lexicon is just woke up.
I don't think I've ever seen him before.
No, yeah, he's only 3 months old, so we just had him not too long ago. But he's such a smiley baby.
I don't really know you well outside of our group meeting from Self-Respected, I don't think, right? So
yeah, I think I met you did you go to San Diego?
Did, yeah.
Yeah, I think I met you there at breakfast one, but it was very short. I just had Stellar at that time. She's 2.5 now. So I had a brief conversation with you, but with the baby, you know how that goes. Like you're all over the place. So
yeah. So okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself. And I know we're relying on little one's time. So
yeah, so basically, I had joined. So I was into personal development, and I came across the Self-Perfected podcast. And I was like, wow, this is very interesting. And someone from the group had just dropped it in another personal development community. And I just happened to click on it because I think it caught my attention because it was red. Like the logo is red. So it like, you know how like you scroll on social media and you have pattern interrupts. I think the red just because it was like there were someone posted in this personal development group, hey, what are some good podcasts to listen to? And there was like the comments were probably like over 100, and I was just kind of scrolling through to see. I was looking for another podcast to listen to because I had just finished a different one on my bike rides. And you know how like when you scroll on social media you have pattern interrupts. Well, the logo was red, so I think that pattern interrupted me when I was scrolling through, and I was like, Self-Perfected, that sounds interesting, I'll click on that. So I started listening to it, and it was like they were talking about things that I had never actually heard of before. I was like, wow, this is very interesting. So it got me intrigued, and I kept listening. And then pretty soon I'm like, okay, I want to join this group. Like, let me find out about it. It's very interesting what they're talking about. And then I had found Mitchell on social media, and I added him and jumped on a call with him and talked about some things. And then I had joined the group. So that was about 4 years ago. And yeah, my life was so different before then because I was working in Hawaii in a lab. So it was during COVID, and it was insane because I was doing all the COVID testing. Like that was my job.
Oh boy.
So yeah, so it was like really crazy. And for me, I was just immersed in it. So there's kind of a lot of fear, right? Because you're seeing all these positive results and you're like, oh my God, like what's happening? And you're on this island, so you're kind of like isolated from the Midland as well, or for mainland. Mm-hmm. So your delayed news is like way later than on, just mainland. So yeah, there's just all those factors, and we couldn't really go outside, and you're living in Hawaii paradise, right? And you're like, what? I can't go outside? Like what is this?
Right.
So yeah, there's just a lot of fear around it. And then my contract ended. So basically what I was a traveling med tech, and I came back home to North Dakota, which is where I grew up. And I was like rethinking life at that point. I was like, do I really want to just keep doing this, or do I want to do something else? Like I'm really getting, because I had been traveling, doing that for 5 years, and I had been a lab tech for 10 years. And I could see I was kind of at the cap of where I could get myself in that position at the time. So I was like rethinking life at that point, like what's more, I want something more. I want something challenging. I'm getting bored. And so, yeah, that's how I found Self Perfected, because I was in that state of like searching, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, I joined the community. And Mitchell, of course, like I was in North Dakota at the time, so he lives in Minnesota. So he was I think he just had moved into his big property. And so he was hosting like a housewarming, and he invited me out there. So I was like, oh, sure. Like I'll drive out there. It's like a 6-hour drive or something like that. And so I went out and met all of them, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I like what you guys are doing. And so I just kept coming on the calls, got techno tutor, and yeah, just like got immersed into the community and really enjoyed the people that were in, because it was kind of like people I'd never surrounded myself with before. Like they were talking about things that I never actually considered. And then, yeah, I started like DIP, the Destiny process, and like really started taking that more seriously, looking at all the patterns that from my past and all that I had been participating in, and still do that today. Um, and yeah, my life changed so much, because when I got into the group, I was like one of those independent women, right? Like I was just out there making money, slaying things, like, and someone like challenged me on that, like reconsidering, like, you should get into a relationship. You're in your 30s. And I was like, yeah, I know, but guys, like, I've tried that. They're all just like, never works out, all the things, all the objections. And I really looked at it for myself and just realized like my starting point of relationships was based on energy, like emotions and feelings. And I never really considered having an agreement ahead of time. So through the group, they introduced me to the principles. And one of the principles is relationships as agreements. And I was like, wow, that I never considered that. That's actually brilliant. So then I came up with what I actually wanted in a relationship, right? And actually like planned it out and thought about it. And within like 4 months of me doing that, like mapping it all out of what I actually wanted, I found, well, Owen actually DM'd me. I wasn't like actually thinking about a relationship with him. But he DM'd me and we started talking on Zoom. And pretty soon it was just like kind of made sense. Like we're into the same things. We had the same goals. And so it just made sense. It aligned with my agreement that I wanted in a guy. And so we started our relationship agreement at Mitchell's wedding, actually.
Wow.
So that's when we started. Yeah. And then we decided to move down to Miami, because I was in North Dakota and he was in Toronto, Canada. And so he actually couldn't go back to Toronto because he had COVID. And obviously he couldn't fly. So because he got COVID at
Canada was so brutal with the lockdowns. I know, because I'm from Canada.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he couldn't go back. So he hasn't been back since Mitchell's wedding. Because at that point, he couldn't go back. And then we decided, well, he got into the business of TechnoTutor and wanted to go down to Miami. And so I was like, all right, I don't want to live in North Dakota. Like, that's not where I wanted to live ever. Like, that's why I was traveling to figure out where I wanted to live. So I was like, sure, like, yeah, let's do that. And we were in a relationship. So I'm like, well, this will be the test, like, if this really works or whatever. And we ended up coming down here. And within, I think, a month, we were engaged. And a couple months later, we got married just by, like the sign of the papers or whatever. And then a few months after that, we had Stellar, because that's what was in it was just, everything goes fast when it doesn't seem fast for you when you're in it, because you started your relationship on an agreement and you were very clear about what you wanted. It wasn't like past relationships where I started on energy. So it was like, when are we going to actually start a family? Like, no, everything was like super clear ahead of time. So we moved just very fast we weren't even together a year yet. And we already had Stellar. We were married, all the things. And then, yeah, now we have a second child. We've been together almost 4 years this fall now. So yeah, that's kind of my story in like a compacted version. of who I am and like how I got started and met like you in this community and all that. So
Amazing. So aside from getting like very clear on where you wanted to be and kind of relationships you wanted, and um, what what other big impacts have it had? Because I mean, you're not still working as a lab tech, right?
yeah, no. So that's also another thing I had to really look into within myself of letting go of the control of making money because it was so ingrained in me that no, like I need to make money and my worth is attached to money. My worth is attached to me achieving things in the system of money, like huge programming in me around that because uh like I really wanted to like it's interesting because when I started looking at my programming, what I was really seeking was freedom from like money, like having to feel like I don't have enough. And so I was always chasing how do I make more money, more money, more money, the energy of it, right? And that's kind of how I fell into this group. But then I had to change that completely and be like, oh no, I'm a woman and like men can't have children, obviously. Like, and I know I can raise an effective child like that I know I can do because anything like I really focus on, I will achieve it because I'm very like determined and I trust myself in that sense. And I'm like, I'm really wasting my life chasing something that's not even real. Like it's just energy. It's just money, you know? Like, yes, we need it. Don't get me wrong, but like I have a higher purpose than that. And so through that, I had to like let go of all the control of wanting to make the money. And that was like a process of, I mean, I still have moments where I have to catch myself. It comes up like I want to be out there and do something like related to making money. Like I'll have thoughts of it and I'm like, oh wait, no, like why am I thinking that? You know? Because it really was so ingrained for over 30 years. You just have to like work through it through the process of, you know, reflecting, doing your self forgiveness of the course I talked about with DIP that really supported me. And then also, of course, using Techno Tutor and like understanding how reality works. So I would say that was a huge point I had to face in my reality when I got into a relationship with Owen because I had to one put all my trust in him to make the money for our family, and then when we had kids, of course it activates more in you because you have another being as well that you're taking care of because I made a commitment that like once I have a kid, I'm never going back to work. So it's like, you know, when you cut off all decision or you make a decisions and you cut all back doors, like when we had Stellar, that was like, oh yeah, I actually can't go back to the lab ever again. Cause I would still have those like moments like, well, if things get rocky, I could just, you know, go take a contract, make a bunch of money, and then, you know, quit again and or, you know, when the contract's not work again or whatever. But once you have a kid, it's like, oh, that's not an option anymore. So yeah, it really had to face a lot of fears for me in that sense.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So looking back at it now, or even where you are now, what advice do you want to give to like other women right now? Because a lot of us have grown up like you, where it's like we have
Yeah.
to be independent, we have to provide for ourselves. We're growing up. I mean, growing up in a society now where it's like men are evil and bad, and you have to be the strong one at all times, and it's almost like the role reversals, right? So, what advice are? I mean, if you have to have advice for any woman out there, what would you say?